your mindset is going to be the most important thing here. You have to respond well to the symptoms. How's it going, guys? Miguel here with CFS Recovery. In this video, I'm going to be talking about this idea, this grass is greener mentality. And I know you probably thought this at some points. I know I did a lot, and most of the people in the Recovery Jumpstart program also have this at some point. It's the grass is greener mentality. So what does that mean, the grass is greener? That means that you hop from one thing to another because you always think it's going to be better doing something else. Another solution works, and you'll be doing whatever you thought you should be doing. Maybe you researched it, maybe you saw it in a YouTube video, maybe you read it in a book. But the thing is, for anything to make massive change in your life, it takes time. And most people don't do it long enough or don't do it in depth enough to feel the results of the thing they're doing. So they're halfway into doing something, they'll see another thing that might work better. And so they're gonna pull out of the original thing that they committed to, and they'll say, well, this doesn't work, let me try this. And then the exact same thing will happen. They'll try this, they won't do it long enough. They'll see another thing over here that works for other people, and they'll say, oh, well, maybe that thing works. Maybe I'll go there. So I see this a lot with people who have, gone from program to program or methodology to methodology or book to book. And you get into this analysis paralysis because the more of these things that you do and you drop out of and quit doing, the more you build a story in your head that whatever you try in the future is not going to work, because to your brain and just in general, history repeats itself. If you're going to quit something, you're likely to quit again in the future. So that's where this grass is greener mentality can be very detrimental. And what you have to understand is there's a famous quote, I can't remember who said it, but the grass is not greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water. So what you have to do is come up with a plan, whether it's by yourself or with other people. You could join the Recovery Jumpstart program. We can help build a plan for you, but you have to absolutely stick to it. Do not quit. You have to see it through. And most people don't stick to it long enough to see the progress that they initially started the entire thing for. So you have to stick to the fundamentals. And this is where, following through can be difficult, because you have to do the same things over and over again if the plan is right for you. Now, the roadmap that I teach people on this channel and in the program, and if you've been following me for a long time, you know that you're supposed to increase activity a little bit. It's very common for the symptoms to flare up when you increase activity, and when the symptoms flare up, you're going to have to pull back on activity and handle the symptoms as best you can, because your response, the golden rule in recovery, is your response is determined by how well you respond to symptoms. So there are so many people I've told exactly what would happen in their recovery, yet they still did not follow through with it. I've told them, hey, your mindset is going to be the most important thing here. You have to respond well to the symptoms. But I don't push them so far outside of their comfort zone. I tell them to increase activity a little bit, just to get a taste of what a real adjustment period is like. And during the adjustment period, the symptoms will flare up, and they're supposed to handle them well. Now, this adjustment period, it could stick around for a few days or a few weeks, and it absolutely breaks my heart when people are in that adjustment period phase. They feel like they're going backwards, even though we tell them, hey, your symptoms will flare up. You're gonna have to pull back activity, but you have to stick to the plan. You have to see this through, or else you're never gonna try expanding activity again, and you're gonna be terrified. So you need to stick to the plan. And some people, when the times get tough, they just quit. And it absolutely breaks my heart, because I see the potential they had if they had just stuck through it, instead of saying, maybe the grass is greener over there. Maybe that thing will work for me. Maybe this thing will work for me. But that is rarely the case, especially when it comes to what we do here at CFS Recovery, especially when you're trying to recover from CFS. So maybe there are other things that may help you on your journey. Don't stop sticking to the plan, and don't go off course just because times are getting tough and you think there's a better opportunity. There's also another famous quote by Bruce Lee. I fear not the man who has practiced 1,000 kicks once, but he who practiced one kick 1,000 times. And it's so true, because a lot of recovery, it's doing the same things over and over again. At least when it comes to progress cycles, you're gonna have hundreds of progress cycles. Progress cycle is essentially when you increase activity, you have an adjustment period, you respond well to it, your body makes a comeback, and then you level up in recovery. That's one progress cycle. In recovery, you will have hundreds of progress cycles, and these can last anywhere from, when you're further along in recovery, this could be a few hours in the day, whereas in the beginning of recovery, these could last a handful of weeks, 3 to 4 weeks sometimes. So just know that a lot of recovery is repetition and going through these progress cycles. That's why we don't want people to track their adjustment periods. Don't keep track of how many progress cycles you've had, because there's no point. You're gonna have many of them, just accept that. But recovery is actually quite simple. People are looking for this fancy thing where they're gonna get faster results, and the grass, especially when it comes to the CFS world, it's not greener on the other side. It's not a complex way to recover. It's actually very simple. It's pretty interesting because when people first join the program and they get through those initial 6 weeks, they're like, wow, this is actually a lot simpler than I thought, because I was doing all these other things, learning all this stuff, trying to implement 10 to 15 different things, but I was not getting better. I was stuck, or if not, I was getting worse. And everything we do in Recovery Jumpstart, it's super, super simple, but it's doing the simple stuff over and over again that's gonna get you out of this. This is where it ties to doing things that you enjoy as well. You wanna have fun during recovery too, because you could still do things. You could listen to good music for the most part, as long as it's not too overstimulating. You can listen to a comedy special here and there. You can talk to family members, and it doesn't have to be this absolutely dreadful thing, but you want to stick to the plan no matter how boring it is. And if it's boring, spice it up. Add in some joy here and there, some positivity. And I know you're probably looking at me saying, well, Miguel, easy for you to say. Yes, it's easy for me to say because I've actually been in your shoes before. So in terms of the grass is greener mentality, completely get rid of it. Once you decide on a path that you're gonna follow, see it through until it's failing. So if you're new to my channel or you've been following me for a while and you're going into these progress cycles or going into these adjustment periods and you're starting to second guess yourself, that's completely normal. But don't stop. Do not quit on yourself, because at the end of the day, it's the only way out. It's to get through these progress cycles. It doesn't matter if you're in our program or you follow my channel or another person's channel, it all revolves around the same concept of exposing your body to certain stimulus and handling those symptoms well. So it's shifting your body from a survival fight or flight mode nervous system to a more relaxed, a more normal, calmer nervous system. The only way to do that is through exposure therapy and handling the symptoms well. There's no other way around it. So these principles are universal across the board. Approaches can be different. My approach may be different from another program's approach or another channel's approach, but overall, the underlying principles are exactly the same. You do certain activities, you will have symptoms, but you need to handle it the best you can. Those principles are universal across the board if you have CFS or a hypersensitive nervous system issue. So completely get rid of the grass is greener mentality. You need to stick to the plan you set out for long enough to actually see results. Most people stop too early. So completely get rid of the grass is greener mentality. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got a lot of value out of it. And as I always say in my videos, use these principles and actually apply them to your recovery journey and your situation, because all this knowledge is great, but we have to make sure we're implementing it, because knowledge without power is useless. Implementation of the knowledge that you learn, that is priceless. Today's subscriber comment highlight of the day is from Mr. God of Heavy Metal. Interesting name. And he says, it's very important how to react on symptoms. I tell myself they are only activated by a dysfunctional nervous system. Excellent. As long as I do so, they immediately go away. Don't fear the symptoms, they are a part of recovery. That's awesome, man. And it's really, really good that the symptoms immediately go away for you. You know, it doesn't happen for everybody. It doesn't usually happen immediately, but if you can start experiencing that, that's really good. That means your brain is very malleable. It's able to shift out of a survival or fight or flight mode. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did want some extra help and you wanted to be a part of a community of other thrivers who are going through CFS and getting better and seeing progress and recovering and having all these mind shifts, if you wanted to be surrounded by that in a solution-focused community and also get one-on-one hands-on help from your personal Thriver coach, then make sure to click the link down below. You can apply to the Recovery Jumpstart program. You can see all the information of how we can help you out. If it's a good fit, you can fill out an application form, and that's where we can see if you're a good fit for the program, but also if the program is the right fit for you. So I hope you enjoy this video. Always remember, you are a thriver and you are just one mind shift away from living a life with thriving health. I'll see you in the next video.